So, Jeremy Kenerson,
Jimmy Tyler.
how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing good. So, tell me a little bit about your company that you have now.
Oh, well.
Desk Team 360?
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
You did it this time. I love it.
Boom.
I love it.
Last time we recorded, I couldn't do that to save my soul.
Yeah, it's been 5 years, and my dad still calls it desktop. He's like, how's that desktop 360 doing? And I'm like,
It's doing all right, Dad.
yeah, don't even correct anymore, you know? But yeah, it's going great, man. Over the last 2 years, I really did a lot of focusing on getting rid of distractions, and it's like kind of the universe telling me focus. Everywhere I was listening to, everybody I was learning from was focus. So I focused, and who knew? The things that you focus on grows. So
Hard to believe.
It's been going great. We work primarily now with digital marketing agencies.
Okay.
We found they have a lot of work, so they're kind of more attracted to us. And now we do a lot of JV partnerships. So obviously getting into somebody else's list and their clientele, and it's kind of like a referral lead. So,
Okay. So other people with large lists or whatever are promoting your services directly, and then you're paying commission on it. And stuff
Correct.
Like that.
Correct.
Okay. Nice. Very nice.
I'm sure you remember John Jantz from Duct Tape Marketing when you're at Infusionsoft.
Of course. How could I forget?
Yeah. Super stud. Yeah, that's going great. And Alaric Heck at Outreach. You ever seen any of his YouTube videos?
I probably have, but you know what I mean? Like,
he's got the ads where he's like, YouTube ads beat Facebook ads every time. Have you seen that one?
No.
That's
60% of the time, they beat them every time.
What? That doesn't even make sense. Oh, yeah. So that's been going great. So obviously, referral leads convert higher. There's a trust factor already there. So I was actually at his event, and one of the speakers was talking about joint ventures. Mm-hmm. And I was like, duh, why didn't I think of that before? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's, we love referral business, obviously, as well. Who doesn't?
Yeah. Show me someone who doesn't, and like, I don't know. There's nothing I can say after that. Yeah. No, I was going to say something violent, but I was like, maybe we shouldn't say violent things now. I don't know.
No, I think that's okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
As I get older, there's certain things
corporate.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
As I get older, the more times I say things, people look at me like, you shouldn't say those things anymore. I'm like, really though?
So you obviously have a fulfillment team primarily. I assume you're managing the business, and then you have your team doing the fulfillment?
Yep. So kind of how that works now. I don't know if I told you this.
What are you selling exactly, first of all? Let's start there before we get to who actually does it.
Yeah. I got people, they do things. Okay. No, so our service is basically a unlimited marketing implementation service that I've coined as insourcing. Because outsourcing, right? It's for the best thing since sliced bread, right? But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like there's things that are a pain in the butt. So when I used to run my own agency, outsourcing was amazing, but I always dealt with things like people were good, and then all of a sudden it was like the quality drops down. I'm like, dude, what are you taking on more clients, and you got your cousin over here doing graphics? Because these things suck, bro. What's happening? And just the time spent, trying to interview and hire or whatever. So anyway, and you have the things that happen, like typhoons happening. I can't get any work done. Because my computer died. I can't get work done because the internet was out. I can't get work done because the electricity's out. And it's like, does anything work over there? Why am I not getting work done? And it's like, you're relying on other people to get your work done for your clients. And now all of a sudden you're not reliable because your workers aren't reliable, and no fault to them. They're dealing with whatever they got going on over there. But those are always the biggest pains for me. So when I started Desk Team 360, I just wanted to alleviate those pains. So basically, we have a couple different packages. Unlimited graphic design, what I call unlimited tech work. So this is all your website setups, your adding new pages, blog posts, creating funnels, setting up your CRM, your email marketing, your automated follow-up, all your integrations, automations.
Anything SEO focused there, or is it primarily just getting the foundation of what they need to be able to launch?
Right. So working with entrepreneurs and digital agencies, I always tell people hey, you handle the strategy, you handle the copywriting, and you handle the media buying, and we handle everything else. We take all of that stuff off their plate. So a lot of our clients do focus on SEO. So they're creating the strategy with their clients.
That's perfect.
They're giving us the content, and then we're following their SOPs to get everything set up for them.
I had to have you talk to my boy Justin next door. He has Rising Phoenix SEO.
Yeah.
His he'd be probably good for that sort of thing.
I love referrals too. So we got those different services, and then we have a pro package where it's everything combined. So for less than what it costs to hire your own outsourced employee in the Philippines, you get basically a team of 9 people because we have like a pod system that I set up. So the pod includes a graphic designer, a developer, and like a technical VA.
Okay.
And then we implemented.
What is a technical VA? Tell me about
like,
what that.
Like the word VA is pretty vague in itself.
Oh, it's
like
super vague.
Yeah, like what VA are they? Like if they're just like a jack of all trades, then they're a master of none, right?
People were calling my my employees in Mexico VAs. I'm like, no, they work at our office. They're not really virtual. We have 2 locations. That's all.
Right, and that's insourcing. That's the beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
So like what we did was we took this pod model where we have like those 3 people, and then we have a day shift, and we implemented a night shift.
Okay.
So that's 6 people, and then you get a team leader that manages those people and their work and training and everything, and then you get a U.S. based account manager to help.
Which is
I mean, that
necessary.
just goes a long way.
Yeah.
Like enough said about that, right? It's phenomenal. And then the 9th one is me. I do 2 weekly group calls.
The handsome one.
The best looking one out of everybody. I remember when that used to be so. No, I'm just kidding. So like I do 2 weekly group calls for my clients. So they get me, and we can actually talk about strategy. We could talk about sales. We could talk about just whatever. It's like kind of like a ask me anything. It's like whatever you're dealing with in your business. Like let's chat. Let's chat.
Is that one-on-one, or is that one? Or is that's group? Like
it's a group.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 group Zoom calls. First come, first serve. And what I found is some of the clients, when they first start, they'll be on those calls, and then they're like, well, I'm good. I'm good now. Everything's fine. And they would jump on maybe every once in a while. So the groups are pretty small.
Yeah.
If they start getting larger, like I started with 1, and then, I got larger. So I started a second one. So I would probably start a 3rd one. And that way you get these 9 people in this pod working on all your stuff almost 24/7 because you got those shifts going.
Yeah.
But just like you, we have a location. So we actually had 2 offices. And then in May of last year, we broke ground on our own office, and
Very
we
cool.
moved into that in December. So that was exciting. Got the
Here locally?
no, it's in Indonesia.
Oh, okay. Nice. Nice.
Yep, it's just east of Bali, and it's got the Desk Team 360 neon sign on it.
Very
it's
cool.
Pretty pimp.
Very cool.
Pretty excited about that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's cool. So, your typical clients are obviously your referral partners or your affiliates are other marketing agencies. They're typically handling things like SEO and stuff like that.
Correct.
And then you're implementing the strategy for the most part, and actually doing the other things. SEO is very high level. It's top of funnel, definitely.
Right.
And then you're basically managing everything from there down for their sales process, and actually the system side of their sales process and the marketing side of their sales
Yeah, the
process,
system
right?
side. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So
Very cool.
everything included with SEO, like as an example, duct tape marketing. So they have their own certification program where they teach people their marketing methodology. They're also a digital agency, but they have this certification. And the people that go through there are the ones that are referred to us. So a lot of them do local SEO. There's different things with like ads. I mean, there's so many different types of digital agencies, right?
Yeah.
But when you have somebody that, like, as an example, does SEO, we take their strategy. They usually do a redesign on a website if it's like they already have one, or we'll do one from scratch. But we start with the design, get that approved by their clients. So they're kind of like, they're the middleman between us and their clients, basically.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. But all different types of digital agencies. So social media agencies, we're pumping out tons of graphics, same with the PPC type of agencies. They're always doing new creatives and trying to test things and do it quickly. And one thing that's different from us than other competitors is we actually don't penalize people for revisions. So like, as an example, if you were to use an unlimited service like ours and you send in 10 tickets,
Right.
10 requests, they would work on one, and then they would wait for you to actually go through the revision process, approve it, and close that ticket before they work on the second one. What we do is you send in 10, we send it to you, and we start working on the next one.
Mm-hmm.
We send it to you, we work on the next one. We send it to you, work on the next one. And then you just send in your revisions.
Yeah.
The revisions are usually fairly quick. So it's like, send us the revisions and we just pump them out real quick.
Now, what are you guys using for like review for revision? What softwares are you using for that? Like we have a couple different ones we have 3 different ones that we use for different.
Everything is just in the ticketing system.
Okay.
Yep. So they get an email and then they can just go, hey, here's a Loom video with revisions, or hey, change this to that. Got it. They're able to manage it either logging into the ticketing system or through the email, because the email just connects their email directly to the ticket in our ticketing system.
I gotcha. Yeah, we've got we use for that stuff. We use Frame, obviously, for a lot of our video, for our client videos. We use another system called Collaborate, which is it's like a poor man's Frame. Like, I don't know why we only do it for internal stuff because we keep maxing our Frame account out, and then and rather than having 2, it's just like we're already on their biggest plan. So, and then we have another one called Zyflow. Have you ever looked into that?
No,
it's pretty pimp. So
Zyflow.
you can
How do you spell that?
Zyflow.
Flow. I like it.
But it basically, you could take like a URL. Like, I could just pull up your website and I could say, all right, so we're gonna make changes to this. So I could just plug your URL into Zyflow and it'll make a PDF of your entire site, and then you can like put squares around stuff and like make notes on it, circle things, and do all the normal things that you would do. Right. But it goes super fast. It back and forth from the graphic designers who are then going to making change. All right, so is this what you want? Right. And then it goes back and forth. So I've just found it's a lot more effective than Frame, because Frame sucks with images. It's awesome for videos.
Interesting.
But yeah, images is horrible.
Yeah.
The interface is just like you'll scroll a little bit and it'll go like tiny, and then you're like trying to make it big again and it doesn't work.
Yeah, I love that. Waste of time technologies just work.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So you give them unlimited revisions, and we got off on a little tangent there. But that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do unlimited revisions, and then we don't penalize people for a revision. So like when someone says that they're an unlimited service and they do one at a time and wait for you to finish it, I mean, those revisions, people go back and forth for days, if not a week on revisions. And then next thing you know, I got 4 things done this month with this unlimited service that's not so unlimited.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, I like to think of ourselves as actually unlimited.
Right. Well, and it's funny that you bring that up, because that's one thing where, I feel like there's a lot of marketing agencies, not either of these two, but there's a lot that like they make all these promises, they get people to sign these long contracts, they do all this stuff, and then they never fulfill on any of it. And it's like, well, that's like one of the things where when I started my own agency, I was like, I'm not doing that. People are always shocked when I'm like, no, it's month to month. Like you should try it for at least 3 minimum if you're gonna, because it's gonna take time for you to get on board, do all this stuff. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to fire you as much as you want to be able to fire me. Like, that's keeping everybody honest.
I know, right? It does. I just think the whole contract thing is just so old school. Like, I don't want to sign contracts. Like, if you don't like me, fire me.
Yeah.
Move on. I don't need to, hijack you, And like when people leave those companies and they go to somebody like us and they get something redone and they're like, I just need to get that site from that company. And the company's like, oh, no.
Oh, they hold it hostage.
Dude.
No, it's that's the one thing I hate about saying that I have a marketing agency, is like the stigma associated with all these other assholes that are ruining the industry.
Yeah. And it comes down to like, I don't think they're necessarily like not good at what they do.
Right.
But I think they take on more than they can chew. And a lot of them are doing a lot of this stuff themselves. So you can only do so much work.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you have like, and I'm sure you've been there, where it's like we've all made those mistakes. It's like all of a sudden I got too many clients and like I'm trying to get all this stuff done, and then people are hitting me up like, why is this taking so long? Where's this? And then you start working on the people that are, the greasy, squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
Yeah. That's why I'm always happy to be a little labor heavy, because I know that whatever, we can take on a job and we're fine. You know, we don't take on a job and then it sits around, because the one way to piss off a big client
is wasting time.
Wasting time. Yeah. You know, and yeah, it's, that's one place where I'm always like, okay being, you know, as long as we can be a little heavy on labor and still profitable, like, great, cool. You know, I figure that's part of a growing business. Oh, yeah. Should be, anyways.
Definitely. And we started hiring up front now. So, like, you know, as your business is growing and you got growing pains and you kind of learn what works and doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of hard at first, especially when you're dealing with like financial struggles, you know, when you're first getting a business off the ground. And
don't I know?
You know, we'd max out the team and then go, all right, let's go hire people quick. Let's go.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a hiring process. And, you know, thank God I'm not the one that has to do that anymore. But it's still a time consuming process. So like what we like to do is have a team already hired and trained before we start bringing customers into their pod.
Right.
And then, of course, I mean, that just eliminates any hardships with the clients, like not getting stuff done good or correctly because they're kind of like new. You know, we don't want that happening.
So one thing I've noticed with having, because we both have several offshore employees, you could call them, is where I've had some really good experiences, most really good, right?
Yep.
And I've had a couple really negative. And what I've identified as far as the negative, it was my fault for sure, 100%. And it's because I hired them to do too many things. But when I hire people to do one specialized thing and they're really good at that, you know, that targeted area, they do awesome. They're fantastic, and they're really some of the most loyal employees you're ever going to find.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Loyal, nice,
loyal to you and your clients.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's the other thing. Not just loyal to you, but like they take it personally when if a client gets mad about something, or if they disappoint, or if they, you know, whatever. They're just good people.
Yeah, they're like Americans 100 years ago. When we used to be nice
before we went woke.
Before the cray-cray happened, you know? Yeah, they're absolutely fantastic. The only bad experiences I've ever had is obviously if it was my fault, because communication is key. And I think outsourcing is a life skill for an entrepreneur or business owner that isn't taught, and you have to like bang your head against the wall a few times. I've talked to some people that are like, oh yeah, I don't do that. It doesn't work. But to your point, number one is communication. And number two is hiring somebody based on the skill.
Yeah.
Instead of a jack of all trades, master of none.
That's exactly right.
A lot of people try to just fit so much and put so much on somebody's plate.
And don't get me wrong, I have a few employees that are still, you know, they have their hands in a few things just because, you know, we're not to the point where I can, but they know as well, hey, look, the goal is to have you doing one thing, you know, but we're just not there yet. Right. You know, we're getting there. We're working towards that.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's good. The other part, I think is when you're going through your hiring process, you know, I like to do a 3-step hiring process and include tests in there. But every once in a while, still, somebody will slip through the cracks, and it's like your skill level is not where you said it was, clearly. Yeah. And I need somebody that has that skill set now. I don't have time to train you, buddy.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about, I'd say technical digital skills, you know, things like, you know, graphic design or video editing or programming or whatever, you know.
Right.
But we do the same thing. We have them do a test, and we always say, like, look, we'll pay you for the work, and we'll usually just hand them an old project. It's already done, but we'll hand them the raw material from that and just see what happens, see what they come up with. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but then we intentionally then will give them a lot of feedback on it. Like, hey, this. All right, now go back and, you know, and so then it's how long does that take them to come back with something? How much did they listen to? What was their attention to detail? What was you know, because those are also like, assuming that they have the correct technical skills, right? Mm-hmm. There's some, I'd say some personality things that we're looking for in that sort of thing where, you know, because that's important. That nothing will drive a client crazy like an editor or someone who's not paying attention to what they're telling them. You know, if they have to tell them the same freaking thing on a video 3 times, well, that's like an entire week that's been wasted now. Right. Going back and forth on this one little thing. That drives me nuts.
That drives me nuts too. I mean, it's still something that happens, and you know, you don't know until you hire that person and you start experiencing it. And you know me, man. I like to treat people with the utmost respect. I like to create a culture that freaking we can have fun and enjoy ourselves. But if I got to tell you 3 times,
Oh yeah.
like it's not an us issue, it's a you issue. And we just need to move on from there because
Yeah.
you can't fix that. You can't fix somebody not paying attention to detail. And I think a lot of times when you do outsource overseas, it's important for people to like have the right expectation that, hey, this person is not going to sit here and give you strategy. This
Right.
person is not going to sit here and like take the initiative to like, you know, go above and beyond. They literally do what you say.
They're specialized.
And they're specialists. And if your instructions, they do your instructions. I can't tell you how many times people are like, "Oh, why did they do that?" It's like, well, you right there, they copied and pasted what you gave them.
yeah,
home slice.
that's right. Your instructions were wrong.
Yeah. English second language, bro. You got to be very, very crystal clear, and communication is the key to being successful at outsourcing.
And I think also when your employees are fulfilling on things that are being outsourced, and fulfilling on things from your clients, right?
Right.
Also, like setting the expectations with your clients during that initial, especially when you're first onboarding them in their first couple of projects, being like, all right, so we're going to get uncomfortably specific about what you want here. You know, assume that they have no idea about what you do or, you know, everything.
Right.
Because that's not always the case. But if we can avoid it at all costs and it takes an extra, 2 minutes to give the instructions, let's do that. Let's walk that path. And, and so I'll have them send me instructions initially and, all right, so I'll call them. All right, so specifically though, because we got to be real specific.
Specifically though. Is that your favorite word now? Specifically though.
But for real.
But for real specific, like.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, we're level 2 specific. We need to be level 3 right now, okay?
Yeah.
Can you get a little bit more specific? That's funny. And that's what happens though, It's like, it's a learning process. I remember when I first started outsourcing, like I dealt with all the frustrations everybody else did. And it was simply because of me feeling too busy and I would rush the instructions and then I'd get crap back. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why am I getting crap back? Oh, I went back. My instructions sucked.
Yeah.
So what I try to teach people now is, hey, do you want to spend, 3 minutes giving instructions and then spending the rest of the week trying to go back and forth to fix the crap that was unclear in your instructions? Or do you want to spend 10 minutes for instructions and get it back right tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the mindset that has to switch is I think I'm saving time by rushing the instructions, but I'm not. You end up wasting so much more time in the long run.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right there.
I usually am, Jimmy.
It's kind of my thing.
It's kind of my thing.
Kind of a big deal that way.
Yeah. My wife would say the opposite, but whatever.
Yeah. So switching gears a little bit. So you were talking about, building out people's sales funnels and stuff like that. And you and I both have a lot of experience doing that sort of thing.
Right.
What would you say, in your opinion, I'm just interested to hear your opinion on it, is sort of some of the biggest mistakes or misconceptions that a lot of businesses have when they think about building a sales funnel? So from lead to sale funnel,
Yeah. So 2 that come to mind right off the top of my head is number 1, the biggest misconception is that when I launch this thing, it's going to make me a millionaire. I am going to be looking at which island in Fiji I want to buy because this is money.
Wait, that doesn't happen?
I've been trying for a long time, Jimmy.
Grant Cardone's course. Come on.
Oh, that's the best. Have you ever seen the video?
Island.
Right? I want that. Just work harder. Just 10x what you're doing, home slice.
But I've been following Brendan Burchard for years.
I feel better about myself. I'm a good person, and gosh darn it, people like me.
Just 10x what you're doing, bro. What more do you need?
I think that's number 1 is having the right expectation that like I'm gonna build something and I'm gonna launch it, and it 90% of the time is going to do a huge flop. And I have to be able to take what I've learned from that and tweak it and retest. Tweak it, retest. And that process takes a long time.
Yes.
And if you're doing it with ads nowadays, whether it's Facebook or Google or YouTube, like the ads are so expensive now, it costs a lot of money to test a marketing message. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions. People go, I got this idea, I want to launch it, boom, you get it out there and it flops. And then like a little while later, they give up on it because they ran out of money on their budget. So, starting with ads honestly isn't the best way to test a message anymore. It's just not cost effective. I like doing a lot of stuff with cold outreach to test that message. But the second misconception I think is with building these types of funnels is that, I'm going to be able to automate it and not do anything.
Yeah,
I'm going to be able to sit on the beach and freaking not do anything. And, back in the day, like, when I left Infusionsoft and I was setting things up, I wanted everything automated. Like I was like geeking out on automating, like let's get everything out of everybody's hands. And that's just not how it works anymore. No. You're not going to get the results that we used to get back then.
Well, and it's, it's funny to think about some of the Infusionsoft clientele and stuff that when we were there, it was like they'd come to you wanting, hey, if I could just have my e-com system connected with my email, that'd be awesome. All right, great. And then you show them a little bit more about what it did. And then all of a sudden now their expectation is like the automation Taj Mahal,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, mother effer, like come back to this. This is what you were willing to pay $300 a month for this.
Right.
You're right. You could do all that, but let's focus on the most important thing right now. Right, which is this initially,
right,
and then start adding little automation, little things, to it. You don't need to do everything at once.
No, and that's the thing is like the marketplace is so much more, like aware of our marketing wiles that like when they sniff out the automation, it turns them off now. So you should not do too much automation and make it look like it's not automation as much as you humanly possible, I guess.
Right.
Which you just can't do it all the time.
But that's
Infusionsoft, you could do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not, you're just wasting time and money getting it set up.
Right. Which is why, that's one of the things that has led into some of the stuff that we sell now with like the consistency on social media and, the content multiplication and posting services. It's like, well, it used to be you could just have someone in a drip email and eventually that mother trucker's going to buy.
Yeah.
But it's not that way anymore, right?
No.
And so now it's like, well, it still takes the same amount of touches, if not more, because trust is lower than it was 5 years ago. Okay. That was a stat that was told to me by someone recently.
He sounds like a smart guy, Jimmy.
But trust is lower than it used to be. And so it's going to take longer to sell. That just makes sense. But instead of just keeping someone in a drip sequence, because eventually they're just never going to open your emails anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just something that happens. Their lifespan in your email list is shorter than it was 2 years ago, shorter than it was 4 years ago. It's significantly decreased how long people will stay in that email list. And before they're just ignoring, if not opting out.
Right.
And so that's where being able to get those touch points in social media and other ways, right? Running ads, organic social, all these different things, you can still connect with them and have a meaningful interaction with them multiple times without you picking up the phone. It's the same sales pitch. I feel like it just
it is.
It's fulfilled differently than it was back then.
Right. There's a lot. It takes a lot more work to get it going now.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder, and you gotta. I read a study. I don't know, a few months ago, and it said that nowadays you need to be able to have 27 touches before somebody becomes a client. And it's not just on email. That's 27 emails. Yeah, they're putting you in spam doing it like that.
No,
right?
it can't just be emails.
Yeah, it's got to be everywhere. They got to see you everywhere.
Retargets, organic,
Paid,
everything. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And once they get to that magic 27, they're like, I should probably buy from this guy. I don't think that's the real psychology, but I like to think of it that way.
Well, and it's also about meaningful interactions,
Right.
When another thing, there might be a subject line that tricks me into opening an email, right? But then as soon as I see that this is just something pitching me, right?
Yep.
Delete. I don't even read it, right?
Right.
Whereas again, that's not a meaningful interaction. That's a touch point technically,
right?
But that's not a meaningful interaction. There's nothing meaningful to me about that.
Nope, not
as
at all.
the client or as the lead. And so that's again where having things. Obviously, you could have a meaningful conversation with someone. You exchange a couple text messages. That's somewhat meaningful, right?
Right.
But then you come down to someone watching a video. Well, that could be meaningful, right? Because that's a place where the guard's down.
Right.
They're actually interested. Or, and maybe then engaging with an email is more likely if they know who you are, right?
Right.
They're more likely to trust you a little bit and do these things. And so it's just about having other touch points, I guess, in there, other than the old blast them with email until.
Right. It's key. And similar to what you guys do, like you want to be able to not spend your life creating content. So being able to take one piece of content and repurpose it across those platforms, because not everybody, I hang out mostly on YouTube. When I got to go to the bathroom, I'm looking at YouTube. Yeah. And it's all business related, and it's like you're going through here, but I'm not looking at anybody's stuff that's not relatable to what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that it's not relatable to me. So being able to, have that one piece on that one platform. And some people are TikTokers.
Yeah.
Like you're a TikToker now, Jimmy, right? you're doing the TikTok, right? But like picking out your main source of what you're doing and then expand that out.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's the way that these algorithms have gotten in this, in these things, especially with like YouTube, essentially YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok is all kind of the same thing. Right?
Yep.
I mean, it's run by different companies, but their algorithms act and react very similarly, where they're doing it based on people's engagement, watch time. At the end of the day, they're just trying to keep people on platform.
Right.
And so you have to obviously have some value in the videos and the messages that you put out there. But then on top of that, you have to be consistent and consistently feed this machine, and eventually the machine will reward you, right?
Right. Yeah.
But you don't know which one's going to do it.
Right.
I've had some trash that I put out there just to,
I've seen it, Jimmy.
But that I put out there and it did great. And then I've had other stuff where like I'm like, oh, this is amazing. This is the best. This is, editing is on point.
Fiji, yeah. Here I come.
That's right. And then it just flops. It's, you know what I mean?
It's madness.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
I guess this is where we're at. Yeah. But yeah, testing and optimizing. You don't launch something and then it's going to be great. I mean, one of the best skills that any marketer can have is the ability to do things, analyze the data afterwards and then make small adjustments and continuously go. I mean, that's what marketing is. It's not having these amazing ideas and then they kick ass and then they, no, that doesn't happen to anyone. That's like winning the lottery.
It's like getting struck by lightning.
It really is. Yeah.
It really is though, right?
Yeah.
And that's the marketing endurance that business owners have to have.
Right.
And they have to have the expectation that that's going to have to happen. I can't tell you how many people have had an idea, they started a business, and when it flopped, they gave up. And it's like, what's the book, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, right? The story where the guy went and bought the gold mine, right? And like they spent all this money on equipment and people, and they didn't find any gold, and they sold the mine, sold all the equipment, and the guy that bought it found gold 4 feet away from where they gave up.
Right.
And that's what marketing endurance is. Yeah. They give up. And
it absolutely is.
I have people all the time ask me, like, hey, I got this business idea. Like, is it going to work? Well, do you love it?
Right.
Number one, do you love it? Is this what you want to do for the rest of your life, all day, every day? And number two,
because you're going to get tired of it.
You're going to get super tired of it, right? And if you don't love it and you get tired of it, you're going to give up before you reach that gold.
Right.
You can make money at anything. I mean, what did Russell Brunson say in ClickFunnels? He's like, some guy made $1 million in a funnel by teaching people how to do handstands or something. Like, it's like, it doesn't matter what it is. You can make money at it if you put the focus and energy into it,
Yeah. But what people need to understand, is you absolutely have to have the focus. And then it's not a get rich quick scenario. Never is.
Doesn't exist.
Right? No, it doesn't. I mean, it's, like I said, that's like winning the lottery.
Right.
You have an idea, you launch one thing, and then you get rich off of it. That's the same as winning the lottery, right? Because it just doesn't happen. It's not a normal thing. Still can't win if you don't play, but
like people think Pet Rock was a overnight succession. It's like, no. You know how much time and energy that guy had to put into his rocks,
and how many people told him he was stupid.
Oh my God, could you imagine how many people in his life were like, what the F is the matter with you, bro? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Nobody's going to buy that. And as entrepreneurs, I'm sure we've heard that from at least one family member in our life, at least once, not twice or more.
Like, so wait, I mean, your people are just posting their social media. I mean, can you hire like kids to do that sort of thing?
People pay you for that?
For their business, not
There's so many other people out
like
there
my
that do it.
grandma's social media. This is their freaking business. They understand that in order to stay relevant in that world, they need to be posting consistently and valuable content.
Right.
You know, well, I post to Facebook every day. I wouldn't pay someone for that.
Yeah, that's not a joke. Yeah. Well, no one wants to see what you're eating for dinner there, Bill. Right. You know? Any moron can do that. You're the proof, buddy.
Yeah. It is funny, though.
It is.
Yeah. Well, you're not a business owner either. You don't get that. You don't get it as far as what we're talking about, you know?
No idea.
But it's always those types of people. Why would someone pay for that? I get that you don't understand it. That's because you're not my clientele either.
You're also not my target market.
You don't fit my target at all.
Yeah. There's one rule I have is I don't work with morons. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. On a client basis, I got a no dicks policy. You can't be a dick.
Can't be a dick
and work with me. You have to be cool. If you're a dick to my team, or you're a dick to me, you're done.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I'm not going to have my employee be belittled by you.
It's insane.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. And some people sneak in, dude. They're like super cool with you, and every time you talk to them, they're super cool. And then like you see like an email where it's like totally degrading somebody, and it's like, yo, bro.
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
Not cool, bro. Not cool. Trying to keep a good culture here, dude. You just brought down the whole entire office. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. You know, that's great.
Yeah, hard enough to keep a good culture with people you don't physically see and you're not there with day to day, let alone with you, being mean to them. No, yeah. These are some of the most helpful people in the world.
The nicest people.
And the nicest, yeah.
The nicest. And you're going to belittle them for a mistake that a human made.
That's right. That I could have made too.
That I knew.
Or you could have made. Or
yeah. Well, it's usually their fault. I'm just kidding. Oh.
Yeah. But so
communication's hard, man.
It is.
Not just with English like language, like just between me and you. I mean, how much miscommunications happened over the years, like not really us. We're awesome, but it just happened. So like it's hard enough doing English with humans.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too. Like, you say communication's hard. Like, I mean, working in the marketing department at both Infusionsoft and at Chime, I mean, I was frustrated constantly with my American colleagues about similar things. Yeah. And there's no language barrier. It's just I obviously didn't communicate something effectively as to what I wanted. Right. Yep. From a design or from a video or from whatever.
Right.
And it's it is. I've run into the same problems with Americans. Right. It has nothing to do with them being in another place.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. But I feel like that's like the go-to blame.
Oh, it always is.
Right? It's like, oh, they don't understand. It's I always go, let's look at the instructions. And I'm reading it, and it's like, based on what I'm reading, and they go, oh, yeah, I heard it when you read it. Yeah, that totally didn't give clear instructions.
And I've never had a client say that. I've had people who were talking to us about services. You know what I mean? And,
they've had experiences.
And I've had experiences, and they don't want to use us because we have a lot of people that are elsewhere. And I say, hey, look, I have editors here too. You can do that. It's going to be 5 to 10x the price.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. That's if you really think it's that much more valuable, because I would tell you, we do side by side, you're not going to be able to tell much of a difference.
Nope.
It might be a little different style just because it's 2 different people. I could hand the same project to any 2 editors and you're going to get something slightly different. Right. Yep. But at the end of the day, like this person's not working faster or harder or,
right.
And it's not that big of a deal.
No. So. Especially, I mean, you pay a little bit extra for like experts, Yeah. And you're not going to know the difference.
Right.
At all.
Yeah, exactly. It's 10% of the time it works every time.
That's what she said.
Oh, so yeah. So it was interesting this morning. I went and someone needed an extra for a video sales letter, and turned out it was about erectile dysfunction. It was selling an erectile dysfunction product, which
Well,
I
that's
thought was
perfect
kinda,
for you then, Jimmy, right? I'm not just the president, I'm also the client.
So you're paying in samples, right?
I'm going to need some more samples, buddy. Jimmy, that was 5 years ago.
You didn't even have these talking parts. You just sat there.
So what did you end up doing? Did you just kind of like, did you have any lines, or was it just looking down and disappointment?
It was literally
Why?
no, none of that.
Just work.
No, it was just recording B-roll and everything for that. I'm assuming based on the final whatever they're creating, because they're creating a video sales letter to promote these products, I guess. And so I'm assuming they're gonna be recording like the dude talking, and then this is just the breakaway B-roll that it'll cut to.
Yeah.
But that's what I assume. I don't really know.
I still want to know what was your part and what were you doing?
Mostly I was just sitting there, and then the doctor was talking.
And were you like,
Like the doctor would be like showing me some charts and stuff. And it was funny though. They had a model. Yeah, we won't be able to use this on this part. They had a model of it, and of where you can see the inside, like the penis and the nuts
and the
everything.
tube?
And and everything. And but it's all tiny. And I was like, I see what you're doing using this for the before, right? Like, so do you have one for the after, doc?
Modeled after John Holmes, dude. Like,
he's like, no, we don't have any of that. That was pretty funny though.
yeah, that's good stuff, dude. So are they a client?
No, so some of my guys that do our video work here in house, who actually do the recording and the experts with the cameras, and who have made this place actually look, like you mentioned, it looks a lot nicer now.
A lot nicer, yeah.
100% because of them, not because of me.
Oh, that's great.
Right?
That makes sense,
Yeah,
Jimmy.
yeah, yeah. They're creatives. I'm a slob. So, but they, so they work for us, kind of part time, and then they have their own clients and stuff. So this is one of their own clients, I guess. They were just sitting around here yesterday, and they're like, "Hey, do you know anyone like a middle-aged man for a part in this thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." You know?
Yeah. I'm middle-aged.
Yeah. And they're actually like, "Oh, that'd be perfect. We don't have to pay you." I'm like, "No, yeah, it's fine. It's totally cool." And I was like, "Yeah, I could do it. What's it for?" And they're like, "Well, it's for like a boner pill." And I was like, "Well, maybe not. I don't know.
I'm surprised they told you. It was like, don't worry about it. Just show up.
I don't know if I want to do this, And they're like, "Come on, it's just all right."
It's acting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, now I'm the new face of erectile dysfunction. You're welcome, America.
I know. When I first met you, Jimmy, all those years ago, I never would have imagined this is what it came to. I knew you'd be the face of something.
Been disappointed in you a lot over the years. I mean, a lot, but nothing compares to this.
Oh, speaking of disappointment in Jimmy, it's funny because I just had a conversation with a buddy of mine, and he goes, "Hey, whatever happened to that guy?" Do you remember when we first met and we were talking about movies and come to find out that you didn't like Star Wars?
I've watched them now.
Oh, yeah, you finally watched them.
Well, my son wanted to.
Oh, that's good, dude. What do you think?
Yeah, they're fine.
They're the best.
He seems like a nice guy.
It was so funny, dude. I went because
That guy who didn't like Star Wars.
yeah, because I just got promoted, and it's like you're the only cool person on the team. So like, I went and freaking told my friend, I was like, "Yeah, you're not gonna believe it, man." So like, this guy is really cool, dude, but like, he hasn't watched Star Wars or The Matrix. And my friend goes,
No. I had seen The Matrix.
But you didn't like it.
I said it was okay.
Yeah,
And overrated.
So that lack of enthusiasm meant you hated it. So I'm like, because it's on such a high level,
I want to fire that guy.
Yeah, my buddy, that's what he said, remember? He's like, "Hey, Jeremy, I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but I'd fire that guy." That's how much he loves Star Wars and the Matrix. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and my brother, obviously. You know
yeah.
Jake. He's all
yeah. How are
into
you
it.
guys related?
I don't know. I've asked myself that over the years.
Do you
But we
like,
look too much alike to really doubt it a whole lot.
Well, you guys sound identical on the phone.
Yeah.
Which is kind of freaky.
Yeah.
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 So are you a big Goofy fan like Disney and Winnie the Pooh? And
No.
you don't go with him to Disney World
No,
every year?
I don't do that.
No?
No.
You want to start?
No. I like going to Mexico. He won't go to Mexico.
That's like adult Disney World.
He's afraid of it. Yeah.
Like afraid of what though? Like
I don't
getting
know.
diarrhea?
I don't know. Yeah. He won't do it.
Or he's afraid of the cartels?
I guess. I don't know.
We should ask him.
I've never had a bad experience down there.
Should we call him right now?
Well, we could. We might not answer.
What is he working?
We got to kick that one on again.
Yeah.
I think it's because, so these ones, well, we are like 45 minutes. But they're supposed to go 2 hours, but I think it's 2 hours in 1080. We are going a little long, but that's okay.
I didn't even check to see what time we started.
Well, the timer on the podcaster.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing.
Okay, we're at 29% battery on that one. And this one is still rolling, so I'm just going to turn it off real quick because it's the same type of camera. And then I probably should have hit stop recording first.
Whoops.
It's all right. All right. Oh, maybe it overheated. Yeah, that's probably the problem. So, that's okay. Again, as long as I have the middle one as a backup, that's really all that's important. But we could wrap it up anytime now, too. We've been on for 46 minutes and 25 seconds. But who's counting?
Sorry.
You're good.
Gotta love emails.
If someone's editing this, you can cut this part out.
Yeah. Don't want to be on my phone.
So, yeah. But no, yeah, we don't. Jake's interested in a lot of things that I'm definitely not. And maybe vice versa, but I think he's still interested in most of the things that I am too.
Yeah, just not Mexico.
Yeah, except for Mexico. And I love Mexico. Yeah.
Where do you go down to Mexico? Just Cancun? Not
No.
Cancun, Rocky Point?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got 20 some odd employees down there too. So
Oh, nice.
going down like about once a month. So
Sweet.
yeah, we have a bunch that do our social media marketing, fulfillment, and then we have a large curriculum team. I don't know if I've told you about that
No,
project.
you didn't.
So part of our business, so we kind of have 3 different divisions, you could call it. There goes the other one, but we still got this guy. I think. Let me check.
I think.
Yeah, we're good. So we kind of have 3 different departments is kind of how we look at it. Is we've got our video marketing stuff where we do a lot of editing, a lot of video work for people. And then we've got our social media marketing, which is the content multiplication and posting, right?
Yep.
And then we have curriculum. So one of our clients, the client that kind of got us into this, is so they're like the 5th or 6th largest provider of online curriculum to like school districts and stuff in the United States. So post-COVID, all the school districts were required to have an online program because most didn't, and they kind of shit the bed with the whole stay-home thing. And so this client sells like Phoenix Public Schools, and, groups like that. And basically, he has a platform that facilitates the education, right? And then when the school district comes in, they can pick from all these different options of different curriculum brands, right? And he had his own in there too, but his was not very modern at all. And so most of the time they would pick other people's. And when they did that, he had to pay. He still collected the same amount from the client, from the school district. And so then he had to pay royalties.
Right.
So it started with us just modernizing some stuff just to make his, but our team has now gotten to where like ours looks so much better than even the others in there that like now it's becoming a reason for the new clients to come on board with them as opposed to just it looks better than our old crappy stuff. So as opposed to just reducing royalty costs, now they're acquiring new customers because it looks so much better.
Right.
So a lot more video centric.
Yeah. And becoming more profitable.
Yeah. So I've got a whole bunch of teachers down there that basically, so we're attached to a school. So we're partnered with a school down there. And so the teachers will take his existing curriculum and usually then utilize it we're utilizing AI as well to update and make it more modern. make it the information a little more relevant, right? And then going through, and then the teacher will go through and say, all right, I want, a video here. So you think about each lesson as like a landing page, right?
Right.
So there's 90 lessons per semester. And so if each lesson is a landing page, then each one you're kind of designing to draw eyes down. We're taking more of a marketing look at it, so that they work through these templates that we provided them, saying, all right, you do this, and you never put these two one on top of the other, and you always do, again, continuously driving the eyes down. So then they do that, and then it gets sent to someone else who goes and looks for the appropriate pictures inside of the different apps that we subscribe to. And then from there, then it goes to graphic design, and the designer designs the whole page, putting backgrounds and other images that support, that kind of walk things through. And then it goes to video production, and then it goes to programming, who writes all the code from scratch, and then also who will write any interactive. So, I want this activity, and when they drag this, this, if it's a map of South America, for example, and then all the countries are up here, if they drag Brazil down and put it on Peru, it says no. Whereas if they drag Brazil down and put it on Brazil, it says yes,
Right.
These little things are just to engage the kid more.
Right.
And so that's been a beast of a project, as you can imagine.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Yeah. Because you were doing everything for them.
Yeah, we're working on 1,800 lessons right now.
Dang.
Currently. So
yeah,
it's a lot.
It is a lot.
But it's been good because it also has gotten us into sort of the business side of education. So now we've got a few other clients where they're, they have charter schools, or they have, whatever. And typically they might be a client of my client, but then they also have their own curriculum that they feed into my client's platform for just their schools. And theirs looks like crap too. And their videos, they don't have enough videos. They don't have, all this stuff. So yeah, it's a lot going on, but yeah.
So now you got a whole department specifically around curriculums.
Yeah. Well, we've got the curriculum team, and then they feed stuff to our graphic designers and our programmers. So it's also, but another good thing is it's given me the ability to hire, 2.5 full-time programmers, who can write, do all the code and do all the, and so it's been great because it's definitely funded a lot of other things that we've needed. But then, also it's a big project, but you got to be organized to do that sort of thing. So
yeah. But you got an office where they're actually coming in. So
yeah,
how do you like that compared to remote work?
I like it, actually. I really do.
Way better, dude.
And it's only 4 hours from here, so I go down about once a month.
Yeah, mine's an 18-hour flight, man. Freaking
Yeah, I haven't. Well, because we have other employees in the Philippines and stuff, and we haven't been out there yet. We want to.
Yeah.
But it's a little more of a commitment than the 4-hour drive.
Yeah. When you do something like that, you want to plan out enough time. Because you want to hop some islands, you know what I mean? You want to check out some other things, while you're on that side of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not coming back for a while, so
Right.
I might as well see as much as possible.
Well, and we want to take some time to, do some work and stuff also, but then also focus on some of the relationship building with the team and stuff. That's been really nice with the team down in Mexico, is we're able to get to know them on a personal level a little bit more, and they've been kicking ass lately, and so we go down there, taking them out to a nice dinner and doing little things like that. So yeah, it's cool.
It's good, dude.
And then also we've been able to really help out the school that we're partnered with too. So the person who is the partner there was the owner of the school, the main owner. She was originally, I don't remember how we got connected with her, but for one of our sister companies that does a lot of Spanish stuff, has a Spanish social media presence as well. So they had hired this lady originally just to run their post stuff for them, and she was just doing some side work, right? And we found out she owns a school, she does all this stuff too. But then when COVID happened, it's a private school, right? So people aren't making money, they're not paying tuition, right? And so lost her school. So she came to us and said, hey, is there any way that we can we can help her get into a bigger place. Because she said, well, you know, the problem with that facility is actually, like, even with the same staff that I have, I could make more money if all I did was, if I just was able to hold more classes with the same people I already employ, right? Just I don't have enough room for enough students, you know.
Right.
And so, you know, we looked at some different places with her. We ended up helping her get into, it's like an old Home Depot, more or less.
Wow.
And, you know, like a big warehouse. And then we were able to section off part of it for our stuff too. So we have down there like a computer lab and another studio and offices and stuff like that as well for us. And it's completely separate than where the kids go. But then in this other part, then they have all this other stuff. So it's been cool to go down there and see, you know, I've been to my kids' schools here. But then to go down there and see, like, the kids are so much happier.
They want to learn.
Than what I feel like yeah. Well, it's probably like their parents are sacrificing.
Right.
They're paying out of pocket to send them there.
Right.
As opposed to the traditional public system, right? And she focuses quite a bit on kids with a combination of kids with, like, special needs and, like, special from an exceptional perspective kids as well.
Yep.
Like I was walking through, I was doing some promotional videos for them. And so just getting some, like, B-roll. And I was walking through, and again, this is in Mexico, and these kids, the teachers asking them questions in English, and these are like fourth graders, and the kids are answering in English, like in solid English, and yeah, it's impressive. So
it is impressive.
Yeah, it's another cool part of, like, being a part of something like that. You know,
Right.
Has been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. What are the grades, like, ranges? Go into high school?
basically like pre-K through, like, 10th.
Wow.
But I think that's more typical for when people would finish there. That's my understanding. That's kind of it's different than our system, obviously, right?
Right.
So
that makes sense that they end with sophomore instead of senior. Dun-dun-dunch.
yeah, but yeah, they've been awesome, and yeah, I've really enjoyed having the presence down there and stuff too, and them being as close to here, you know.
Well, it's cool when you can see an impact of what you're doing on a totally different community. You know what I mean? And one that is grateful, and I mean, that's what we're doing over there. You know what I mean? Like, our team is so large now. Like, we're just, we did our first annual company picnic. Mm-hmm. I wasn't there. They still have very high COVID restrictions in traveling to Indonesia, but they went out and they did, you know, the typical team building stuff and paintball, and they're all, like, geared up in camo, and it's like they took a huge picture, you know, a panoramic picture of it, and it's just like they're all in camo with these, like, paintball guns, and it's just like, dude, there's a whole army over there. But, like, how their culture is so family oriented. Like, we had one person quit one time because their uncle died, and their uncle was the head of the household, so they had to go become the head of the household because it's a household. It's like there's so many family members under one roof. And it's just really cool seeing the impact of, like, somebody coming on, and because we pay a lot higher than the national average. Yeah. And, you know, people are getting houses for the first time. They're getting cars for the first time because a lot of them are riding motorbikes, you know, which is pretty common there. But just seeing the impact of, you know, this person is working for us, but all these people and their family are being impacted. It's great. We're constantly trying to go bigger and deeper inside of Indonesia, to where we're going through the paperwork now to start a nonprofit.
Very cool.
Because what we want to create is something for the orphans over there. So being able to create a new building, and ideally, the way that our growth is going right now, in the next year, we're probably going to grow out of the office building that we've just built.
Very cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
But utilizing that as an orphanage. So pretty excited about that.
So when you say built, was there, like, construction involved and stuff like that?
Yeah, you check out our Facebook page as the time lapse of the building getting built.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, because that's one thing that's been a struggle with down there, which I think that they'd also be in a tougher spot if we weren't constantly going back and forth, is, like, getting materials, right? It's interesting, right? Because there's tons of labor, right?
Right. Yeah.
Country filled with Mexicans.
Yeah. And the Home Depot isn't there anymore. Where are you going to get the materials from without Home Depot?
And so it's really easy to like labor's covered, right? For building stuff, but getting materials is like impossible. And so like we'll buy a bunch of shit and throw it on a trailer, and then take it down. And we just have to. If we got too much, we'd have to pay a duty at the border going in.
Did you say duty?
Duty, yeah. Pay our duty, take a duty.
Yeah.
This is a bunch of duty.
A lot of duties.
But yeah, and then just take it down there, and it's still easier than trying to get it down there. So with things, yeah, if you need a bunch of wood or a bunch of whatever.
Yeah.
So.
What's weird in Indonesia is like how much like the computers are, because like with each workstation, because we got 2 shifts, right? So each workstation has like the most up-to-date computer, 2 monitors, and as inexpensive as everything is over there, there's still a chain of islands, so everything has to be imported. So the cost of a computer is almost identical to what we'd be paying over here. It's insane.
Yeah, it's that's one thing where cost of the computers in the Philippines was actually higher than here. Like we were looking at, because some of our guys, we want to upgrade some of their equipment.
Yep.
Right. They've been with us for a while and they need an upgrade. And we were looking at it and we're like, why is this costing so damn much? And we looked it up here and it's way fraction of the price.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which is crazy because all those parts are being built over on that continent.
It's crazy.
And
they're talking 3 months salary that they'd have to save up in order to buy a computer for themselves.
Well, what we were talking about too, but I'm just talking about buying it there, right? Like, I mean, just it's crazy. And so, like, for a while we were talking about like, well, maybe we should buy it and then ship it over, but then looking at that cost too, and the likelihood of it getting broken or damaged or stolen, along the way, and so it's just I don't know. When we go over there, we'll bring a bunch of crap down. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Haven't thought that far ahead, but yeah,
it's expensive.
It sure does.
Who knew? Who knew business would be expensive?
All right. Well, I think I'm ready to go ahead and call this and go get a bite to eat. If you are,
let's do it. Dude.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on, and
thanks for the invite, Jimmy. Good seeing you again, buddy.